Let's pray. Almighty God, who in your wisdom and goodness have appointed the offices of leaders and county assemblies for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor as your servants who you've been pleased to call to the performance of your trust in this republic. Let your descend upon us here assembled. Grant us that shall come under our deliberation in so just, faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our county, and of those whose interests you've committed to our charge. Amen. Take us through the order of the day.
Order paper number, supplementary order paper number 209B of today, Wednesday, 3rd July 2024 at 2:30 p.m. Order number 1, administration of oath.
Next order.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Honorable members, Leave Jaoko and Mr. Thomas Nyakundi, who will accompany them as a group to this educational visit to our county assembly. The honorable member, you can take the seat. You can take any seat next to you. You will move later. Honorable member, you can sit anywhere. You will move later so that I complete the communication. Honorable member, just have a seat there. You will move later. Honorable members, as I was saying, these are students from St. Alois Game Secondary School in North Jakach Ward. These students are here on a study tour at the county assembly, and their presence here today signifies a keen interest in our democratic process. The honorable member, you can come and have a seat. None? I hope that their visit here ignites a spark within them, a spark for civic engagement, a passion to understand the workings of their local government, and a sense of empowerment that their voices matter. Perhaps today, a student will be inspired to pursue public service. Maybe this experience will simplify and encourage them to stay informed and hold us as their elected leaders accountable. Ultimately, I hope this visit plants into them a seed that reminds them that they have the power to make a positive difference in our community. Honorable members, you are aware that the current going in the country is about the Gen Zs, and they have made their voice heard, and it's high time that we also tell our students that their voice can be heard, and they form part and parcel of the country. Honorable members, as per our tradition, I want to give a few members just maybe 2 minutes each on the maximum to give them a warm welcome and encourage them that their active participation in our great nation is of utmost importance to us. I saw the Honorable Member for North Nyakach, what is here, Honorable Tom Nyaoke. So I will give you the priority to welcome your students maybe in 2 minutes. Then the Honorable Leader of Majority, the Honorable Leader, Deputy Leader of Majority, Honorable Mumba Wade, as a member of Nyakach Sub-County, I will also give you 2 minutes. Then, no, I want a lady. I will give one lady. I think I will give, yes, Honorable Miki Ochieng. And then, Honorable Mildred, I have seen you. 2 minutes each. So I start with Honorable Nyaoke.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it's a great honor for me and indeed to all of us to welcome the students from my home area. And Mr. Speaker, it is also worthy for members to note that this school, St. Aloysius, is in fact just close to the home of our Honorable Clerk, Mr. Owen Ojuok. That is exactly where he's coming from. To our students, the Gen Z group that my speakers just mentioned, let me take this opportunity to welcome you to this place. This is the assembly where I come almost every other day. This is where we make laws, and this is where we do actually a lot of our businesses in this particular house. It is important for you also to meet also my fellow members of the County Assembly, most of which I'm sure some of you may be knowing one or the other. I'm so happy for you to be here and to learn exactly what we are doing, and we do hope that amongst you here is a member of County Assembly that probably will take over from me as I move to another level. That is at a later date. But for sure, Mr. Speaker, all this group, they have agreed to make sure they have their voting cards by 2027, and they've insisted that come that time, they want me to come and represent them here. So already I have a head start on where I'm going to start. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and welcome to you in this assembly. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First and foremost, may I say good afternoon to our fellow visitors Thank you. I'm Lumumba Wade, the area MCA for Southeast Nyakach, and also the Deputy Majority Leader in this House. Mr. Speaker, allow me to welcome our guests and feel very, very free to study whatever you have come to study. I know some of you are members of debating club. When I used to be a student, we used to emulate the procedures of parliament, and this is one of them. I'm sure you will learn a lot. Mr. Speaker, I have a lot of history for this school called St. Aloys. My two uncles taught in this school way back in the 50s. And one of them actually taught one of the respected leaders in Nyakach, that is Honorable Kombudo. Kombudo is also an alumni of Gemrai when it used to be intermediate. And he used to live with my uncle, the late Paul Raburu. When I see you here, it gives me a lot of pride that we still have a school that has brought people of integrity and personalities that have respect in this nation. Mr. Speaker, I know that some of them, God willing, will shut up. Honorable Chele, shut up. Mr. Speaker, some of them I know will aspire to be what we are now, others MPs, MCAs, senators. I wish you all the best that you can wish for yourself. As we are here, some of us also now are preparing for next election 2027 to go up, as my colleague has just said, that he will one time go up. Though 2027 will still be here because he's expecting your vote to make him another MCA for another time. As for me, I'll go for the Senate. And that is the way to go. You think big, grow big, and be there. Thank you.
Honorable Miki.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, allow me to welcome the students from St. Aloys to Kisumu County Assembly. You've heard, I've been told that your age mate. I don't know how true that is, but I must be, and in heart. Mr. Speaker, what I'd like to maybe just share with our guest today is that I think it's very clear to them that your generation, this generation, have something to say, and are not as, for lack of a better word, as dumb as we think. So I'd like to urge you to not sleep on your dreams. You've come from different places to be at St. Aloys. So whatever dreams you have, and whatever it is that you've come to learn from this place, keep it close to your heart. But also just remember that we are just here and our time is fast fleeting. Maybe the next time we'll see it's you people who will be in this house. So be encouraged, be of good cheer, and karibuni sana to Kisumu County Assembly. Thank you.
Honorable Mildred.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the students and the teachers of St. Aloys School from Nyakach, I take this opportunity to welcome you to our third assembly. As you can see, we are members here that are elected and others are also nominated. I want to remind you that while I was a student, not many years ago, I was a very good debater in school. I loved history and literature, And I said that I would want to be a lawyer or a politician. So I want to encourage you that, yes, dreams are valid. We are here to represent you. And I also want to admire you that in this age of Gen Zs, some of us are just immediate Gen Zs. We just left Gen Zs the other day, now we are another level. I want to encourage you that, yes, you need to stand up for your right. And when you stand up for your right, it starts from the school. Some of us in school, we used to be suspended all the time because we knew our rights while we were in school. I'm not telling you that when you get back to school, now you stand up for your right and the wrong way. But I want to encourage you that, yes, the future belongs to your generation. Those of you who will be lucky to be in the 4th Assembly, yes, you will find some of us that are just immediate Gen Zs here. And we welcome you. Express your views freely. Some of the laws that we pass here affect you. Like we have an education committee in charge of bursaries. And I know most of you are looking forward to bursaries from through your MCS to your ward. So speak up and don't be silent. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you so much. Yes, you are welcome. I think St. Aloysius game, there is a teacher by the name Otiaro. Yeah, Mr. Otiaro was my teacher in 1996. And still a good friend to me to date. Yeah? In high school. Yes, those days. No, they have confirmed that Otiaro is in St. Aloysius game. Yes, so please extend my greetings to him. Honorable members, I think with that we can proceed. Next order, clerk.
Order number 3, messages.
Next order.
Order number 4, petitions.
Next.
Order number 5, papers.
Honorable Pamela, are you? What is it, Honorable Kenouko?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I stand for Honorable Pamela Oyo.
Oh, just have resume your seat. Honorable Kenouko, you are not an absentee member of Kisumu County Assembly. We know that you come to the Assembly frequently, and the records indicate the same. So you must be aware of the conclusion I made earlier, that if there is any member who is supposed to present any matter to the Assembly and you are not able to make it, then there must be a communication in writing, at least 2 hours before the commencement of the session. What is it, Honorable Nere? So, Honorable, just submit before you say something. Honorable Kennedy Uko, I am not in receipt of any communication. Unless the Deputy Speaker is confirming that when I left you to hold a brief for me, you received that communication.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, when you got engaged with some other issues concerning the Assembly, I got the notification on your behalf, Honorable Speaker, and I forgot to give it to you because today the Honorable Deputy Chair General Oversight treated us for a very sumptuous lunch that made me forget, Honorable Speaker, but the communication was made in your absence. Kindly forgive me.
By leave of the House and of the Speaker, Honorable Kennedy Uko, proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Deputy Speaker, for that clarification. Pursuant to the provisions of orders number 182-6 of the standing orders, I wish to table today, Wednesday, 3rd July 2024, reports of the Procedure and Rules Committee on the amendments to the standing orders.
Honorable members, the Procedure and Rules Committee report on the amendment to the standing orders submitted pursuant to standing order number 244-5 is properly laid before the House and the House Business Committee to consider it for purposes of scheduling for debate. Next order.
See? Motion.
Honorable, I believe you are still on for Honorable Pamela, Honorable Kennedy Uko.
Confirmed, Mr. Speaker. Pursuant to the provisions of order number 45-1, 45-2, 45-1 of the standing orders, this House adopts the report of Procedure and Rules Committee on the amendments to the standing orders. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Next order.
Order number 7, statements.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and honorable members. I have a report before the House. I think the microphone is on, and it is on. The microphone is on, members. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I don't have a statement, but I have a motion to move. Thank you.
Whose microphone is on? Honorable Data Board, the order paper shows that you have a progress report to give during statements as the chair of implementation committee.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think there is some confusion, Mr. Speaker. What I have before me is not a progress report. It is a final report from which was raised by Honorable Ekopete. Thank you.
Can you approach the chair, Honorable Data Board? Order, clerk.
Commencement of business. Order number 8, adoption of the report of implementation committee on the implementation status of projects approved in the financial year 2022-2023.
Honorable Henrietta Bodo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and honorable members. Before us today is our final report, a report which was raised by Honorable Oikopete sometimes back. Please. I was supposed to bring two reports. One of them is this one. The other one, I think, has not yet been done to its completion. So you will excuse me for that, honorable members and Mr. Speaker. The Select Committee on Implementation is mandated to scrutinize the resolutions of the County Assembly including adopted committee reports, petitions, and the undertakings given by the executive, and to examine whether or not such decisions and undertakings have been implemented within 60 days. As provided for in Standing Orders number 184 of the Kisumu County Assembly Standing Orders. On 13th March 2024, a statement was raised in the floor of this Honorable House, pursuant to Standing Orders number 41 2B by Honorable Oikopete, MCA representing Kabonyo, Kanyagwal, on the matter of implementation status of projects approved in the fiscal year 2022-2023. The statement was subsequently committed to the Select Committee on Implementation for inquiry, investigation, and reporting pursuant to the relevant provisions of the County Assembly Standing Orders. The Select Committee on Implementation, at its meeting held on Tuesday, 19th March 2024, sought to follow up on the implementation status of the projects approved in the fiscal year 2022-2023. In considering the implementation status of projects approved in the fiscal year 2022-2023, the committee wrote a letter to all the CECM members concerned, requesting them to furnish the committee with a detailed response on the implementation status of projects approved in the fiscal year 2022-2023. The report, therefore, is compilation of responses received in regards to the implementation status of projects approved in the fiscal year 2022-2023. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, the committee at its meeting held on 19/2024 sought to consider the statement by Honorable Oikopete on the matter of implementation status of projects approved in 2022-2023, during which the committee wrote a letter. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, on 23rd April 2024, the committee subsequently convened a meeting to consider the responses received from the executive on the matter of implementation status of projects approved in the fiscal year 2022-2023, upon which the committee noted that the Department of Lands, Housing, Physical Planning and Urban Development and the Department of Finance and Economic Planning failed to respond in time, despite the reminder notice given to them. See Annex 2. However, the departments which responded informed the committee as follows. Members, you can go to page 8. We sampled as a committee for members who responded to the questionnaires we gave out, Mr. Speaker. And that formed our sampling of some of the responses we got from members. And we will start with Nyando sub-county. And the ward is referred to as Kabonyo Kanyagwal. The reason why we did Kabonyo Kanyagwal in our first page is because, Mr. Speaker, he's the one who raised the question of the projects that have been done in the entire county. And we can go to that page as I read. Department, name of the project, allocated amount, amount paid, payment status, and the percentage of work, and the department's remarks. Medical services, public health, and sanitation. Kabonyo Kanyagwal Dispensary is the name of the project. Allocated amount was 1.5 million. Amount paid was 1.498442. Payment status, processing at county treasury. The percentage of work done is 100%, and department remarks is ready for operationalization. Since, Mr. Speaker, members are here, they'll be able to tell us if what we were given by the departments is a true picture of what is happening in their wards. Energy, transport, roads, and public works. Kadete Osira Access Road was allocated 3.5. Amount paid is 3.492. The project is completed 100% and it is done. You can go to me you can turn to page 7. I think that was page 3. (23). This is East Seme Ward. Department, name of the project, allocated amount, amount paid, payment status, the percentage of work done, and department's remarks. Medical services, fencing and latrine at Nyadodo Dispensary. Allocated amount was 2.5. Amount paid was 2.466,650. Processing at county treasury. Work done is 100% complete. Remarks complete and ready for operationalization. Energy, transport, roads, and public works. Completion of Kabeta, I don't know whether it's Kadete or Kabeta. Kabeta Magada Road. The amount allocated was 3 million. Amount paid was 2.998,328. The project is complete 100%. We can turn to page 31. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, this is North Kisumu Ward. Name of the project, allocated amount, paid, payment status, percentage, and department remarks. Education, human resource and development. Construction of Dago, theme ECDCE. Allocation amount was 1.7, amount paid 1.669,200, payment status complete, percentage of work complete, and the department remark is complete. Energy, transport, roads, and public works. Name of the project is completion of Kobondo Sidika Access Road. Amount allocated was 3.8, amount paid 3.794,788, and the project is complete 100%. Agriculture, irrigation, livestock, and fisheries. Renovation of Maseno ATC. The allocation was 3 million. The amount paid was 299,940. The project is complete. Another project was proposed, renovation works at Maseno Agricultural Center. The amount allocated was 10 million. The amount paid was 9.739,878, and the project is complete. We can turn to page 32. Mr. Speaker, this is Manyata B ward. And Manyata B ward, all the departments, name of the project, no development project, allocated amount nil, amount paid nil, payment status nil, and the percentage and department's recommendation not applicable. Kolwa Central, Mr. Speaker, is department's name, name of the project, water, environment, and natural resources, lakes, lake Opuche to Auji, the siltation works. Amount allocated was 2 million, amount paid nil, the project is complete, amount of work done complete, and the remarks is complete. Energy, transport, roads, and public works. Rai Kanyaika Nyayamo Road. Allocated amount was 5 million, amount paid 4.964 and 87 complete, and the remarks is complete. Nyalunya Primary, Oland Ouko Access Road. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, I'm being corrected by Honorable Nancy here that it is called Lando Uko. But honorable member who is coming from this place will be able to tell us the true name of this place. Now, the allocated amount is nil, amount paid nil, payment status nil.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
What is the point of order, Honorable Tom Nyauke?
Mr. Speaker, the chair of the implementation committee has provided us with this report, Mr. Speaker, and bearing in mind that we have 35 wards, Mr. Speaker, that she wants to go through one by one. I think it is important. Each of us has looked at the program and we have each per ward. So I don't know if you can guide the House, leave the House, any guidance so that it can be shortened. Otherwise, we might be here for some more 2 days, just listening to this.
Thank you so much, Honorable Nyaoke. Look at your order paper for today, page 183. Page 183, that is on limitation of debates. The House is guided accordingly that on the Wednesday of 21st February 2024, the House resolved as follows. That on limitation of debate, especially on reports, and that pursuant to the provision of standing order number 95-1 of the standing orders, these are simply orders that each speech in a debate on a report of a committee, a social paper, or any other report submitted to the Assembly be limited as follows. A maximum of 3 hours with not more than 20 minutes for the mover in moving and 10 minutes in replying, and a maximum of 5 minutes for any other member speaking except the leader of majority party, who shall be limited to a maximum of 15 minutes, and that priority be accorded to the leader of majority party in that order. So, Honorable Member, I'm really watching the time. And we had agreed that for long motions, we allow for moving notes. And I'm aware the Honorable Member is fully informed. So, she's still within time limits. And each and every member, we had calculated, will be able to talk, within that notice in page 183 of our today's standing order. So, Honorable Ndeta Bodo, proceed, taking into consideration the time limit that you have for moving the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We are in Kolwa, and we are done with that page. We are in page 39. And you can turn with me, honorable members, to page 39. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, we are at Masogonyangoma Ward. Department, name of the project, allocated amount, amount paid, status, percentage, department's remarks. Medical services. The name of the project is renovation of Masaka dispensary. The amount which was allocated was 1 million. The amount paid is 999.850. Payment status, processing at county treasury. Percentage of work complete. It is in good structural condition. That is the remark. Water, environment, and natural resources. Completion of Orego water project. Allocated amount, Orago. Thank you, honorable members. Completion of Orago water project. Allocated amount was 2 million. Amount paid nil. Complete. Percentage of work complete, and borehole drilled and capped. Energy transport, roads and public works. Kamrika Kangindo, Kongindo Road. Allocated amount was 2 million. Amount paid 1.991, 776. Complete. And the work is complete. Contracted activity undertaken, survey works, evacuation, grading, and culverts installations. trade tourism, cooperatives, and industry, marketing and industry, sorry. Construction of the Sentry house and water supply infrastructure, including 2 10-liter tank, 2 number of 10-liter tanks at Masogo Nyangoma Rehabilitation Center. Allocated amount was 1.38,677. Amount paid is 1.299,880, and the work is complete. We can go to page 44. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, this is not Nyakach Ward, where Honorable Nyaoke is come from. Medical services, public health and sanitation, completion and equipping of Michura dispensary. Allocated amount was 2.5 million. A total amount paid is 2.445,384. Payment status processing at county treasury. A percentage of work complete, ready for operation or ready for occupation. Education, human resource development and ICT. Construction of ECD classroom at St. Alois Primary School. That is the name of the project. Allocated amount was 1.650. Paid amount was 1.649,229. Payment status is nil. Percentage of work nil at lintel level. Energy, transport, roads and public works. Construction of Atonyego Nyamwany, a bridge leading to Central. Onyego Nyamwany. The allocated amount, Mr. Speaker, sir, was 5 million. Amount paid was 4.996 to 425. It is complete at 100%.
Honorable Chair, you have got 5 minutes to bring to conclusion your moving of the motion.
Mr. Speaker, sir, this is for countrywide projects. Medical services and public works, the project name is construction of Oneno Nam dispensary, countrywide. Amount allocated was 4 million. Amount paid 4 million. Processing at the county treasury, and the work is complete. Mr. Speaker and members, I think I am done. I can only go to committee observations. And the committee, upon reviewing the responses in regards to the implementation status of projects approved in the fiscal year 2022-2023, the committee made the following observations. Some projects that contractor defaulted, thus not implemented. Some projects stalled due to land disputes. Some projects are at the final stage of testing. Others are complete and payments are underway. And the last one is some projects were abandoned and not be to be terminated, while some are to be considered in the proposed 2024-2025 projects. Recommendations. Mr. Speaker, sir, and honorable members, the committee, having considered the implementation status of projects approved in the fiscal year 2022-2023, the committee recommends that this honorable house adopt this report on its inquiry on the implementation status of projects approved in the fiscal year 2022-2023. May I ask the Deputy Chair of Implementation Committee, Honorable Were, to second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I also rise to make a contribution on this report. Mr. Speaker, this report came as a result of a statement from one of the honorable members from Kabonyo Kanyagwa. And Mr. Speaker, considering the responses that were gotten from county executive, Mr. Speaker, you find that the various status of different projects within the different wards within the county. Mr. Speaker, some projects are complete, some are halfway done, some are not even yet to be started, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is coming, it was attributed to different factors that we must address as the House. Mr. Speaker, there is need for use of technology so that we can put matters at our fingertips. Whenever we want to know the status of a project in each and every ward, Mr. Speaker, if there is clear use of technology, just by inserting the word, that project, I think we shall be able to know whatever the information that we want. Mr. Speaker, I believe that with the report that we've gotten, there's room for improvement. We can do better and we can improve so that the county government of Kisumu can move fast forward. Mr. Speaker, I can remember that was the first slogan of our governor when he came into the office, that is in 2017. It was Kisumu fast forward. And I believe we can still champion that to ensure that all the projects, all the recommendations, all the reports that we put forward are implemented. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I so second. Thank you.
Honorable members, now that the report on implementation status of projects approved in the fiscal year 2022-2023 have been moved by the Select Committee on Implementation Chairperson, seconded. I want to propose a question. I propose that the Select Committee on Implementation report on implementation status of projects approved in the year 2022-2023 is open for debate. Honorable T. Boyton.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, before I support the report, I want to make a few remarks here, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when this report was brought to our committee, because I'm a member of that committee, the report has come to the House raw the way it was. You once advised or directed that report, if it is voluminous as this was, we should have what we called the moving notes, which should touch each and every important aspect of the report that can create some conversation for members to internalize. That is why you've realized that out of the 35 words, the projects that were done in that 35 words, not all of them she could get time to read. Nevertheless, even if she was given that kind of time, the speed at which honorable member, the chair, was reading, I think it was still going to take maybe 2 days while we were still discussing the same report. Not important. What I want to put across, Mr. Speaker, is this.
What is the point of order?
Mr. Speaker, Honorable Boyton has clearly mentioned that he is a member of the implementation committee, and he has signed the report, meaning at the adoption of this report at the committee level, he adopted the report as it is before they presented to the House Business Committee to present it to the House. So I don't find Honorable Boyton in order to come and try to make changes on the floor of the House when he ratified the same report at the committee level. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Boyton. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sometimes it's very good to pay attention when somebody is on the floor. Allow me to continue. Mr. Speaker, the report as presented to the House is a good report. But what I want to urge members of this county assembly, this is where the oversight authority should start. We have been given more than 700 million for ward-based projects. Ideally, it was supposed to be 20 million per ward. But I believe there are some wards that were allocated more than that 20 million. So if you calculate, you will find that more than 700 million was spent in that year in terms of ward-based project. Now, what is the question? The question and the important aspect that we need to bring out from this report is, are the projects per ward as was reported by the department being done the way it is reported? Because the committee could not move from one ward to another to actually interrogate and find if these projects were done to completion. That is why we have honorable members from each and every elected ward, so that they should come out and tell the committee, come out and tell the House that the report that you got from the department, this project that is given to them as complete was not completed. This project never even saw the day of the light, and such kind of. So I want to appeal at this point and at this juncture that let honorable members representing the 35 wards come to the surface and let us know if the money that was spent in that period of time was used to the last ceiling. If not, then it is the mandate maybe of this committee to go back and be given time to do scrutiny from one ward to another and bring a very comprehensive report in this House. Mr. Speaker, it's very absurd that money has been spent at this particular time, 2022-2023. We are being told that the project is incomplete. Actually, we are being told that the procurement process did not take place. I think this kind of conversation should end moving forward. I support the report, and I believe members will come on surface so that we put the executive right onto what we call the oversighting authority that the Assembly has been given. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Bill. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to start by thanking the committee for at least attempting to reply what the honorable member had asked. Mr. Speaker, having read the report, I believe the report is not complete, because I was expecting that when the report is being brought to this House, we are doing the oversight role. And in our doing oversight role, we should have asked, the committee should have asked the executive to at least give us the report of what was done and what was not done and why. And then the honorable members in that committee should at least, we have 35 wards. Even if the resources are not enough to work in all these wards, they should have at least done some sampling, at least one project per ward or even two, depending with the resources available, so that at least we can have a clear picture as an oversight body, that in as much as we didn't go to the wards, to all the wards and visit all the projects, at least in this ward, we visited this, and this is the comparison that we are having of what the area member is giving us and what the executive is giving us. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to urge members to at least we give the committee more time to give us a detailed report. I reject.
Maurice,
thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the committee for making an attempt to get 35% of 100 marks from my observation, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm wondering if the chair of such a powerful committee can come before this house with that county report without tail or head, Mr. Speaker, without even knowing the names of the project she's reading on the floor, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, secondly, I've had my good friend, Honorable Latif, saying that the report is raw. How can a whole committee just give us a raw report from the executive to this house without going on the site and do fact-finding, Mr. Speaker? And the committee of implementation has their own budget, and we have vehicles here. So they could have asked for more time to go and do fact-finding on the ground. And this is the powerful committee, the committee of implementation for this great county of Kisumu, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is a letdown. Let the committee ask for enough time so that they can do a proper investigation of the project which is being done on the ward, Mr. Speaker. I reject.
Honorable Dede Samuel.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for according me the opportunity to hear my sentiment concerning the report which has just been read on the floor. First of all, Mr. Speaker, being that the report has been read by the able chair, Honorable Henrietta, and seconded by a able vice chair who did not even append his signature at the adoption stage, Mr. Speaker, as we look at the adoption stage, even though the person who was just seconded didn't even append the signature for the report. To continue that, Mr. Speaker, being that I'm a chair to the Water Committee, there are some projects which have been indicated that were to be terminated. And during the long recess in January, we visited some of the projects and we found that they had already been terminated by January. And if you consider a project like the one in Kobura Ward, the water project in Kobura Ward, which had already been terminated, as per their report, they indicate that it's to be terminated. So there is a matter of confliction there. Mr. Speaker, sir, considering some of the projects like the Obunga ECD, which the project has already been completely paid for and no work has been done in Obunga ECD. The 1.7 million has been paid for, and as per the recommendation from the department says that no work has been done in the project, Mr. Speaker, sir. And concerning the other projects like the machine-based and the emergency road, under infrastructure and energy, Mr. Speaker, it's indicated that there were no equity in the provision of the emergency and the machine-based. Yet that we find that in some wards, we've got about 4 roads done to completion under machine-based, and on other wards, have not been captured even a single job means that the department was biased. Considering on page, like in page 23, under East Semi, there was fencing which was to be done, and and it has been paid for, yet it has not been done for. And on page 31, Mr. Speaker, sir, considering the projects in North Kisumu ward where I reside from, Mr. Speaker, sir, it stated that some of the projects done in North Kisumu ward, like the Dago Theme ECD, the Alara ECD, that's been done to completion. Yet it has been done to completion, no payment has been made, has been done to any of them, yet as per the state from the department, it said that it already been paid and the contractors are eagerly looking for money which they already worked for. And Mr. Speaker, sir, still on page 31, considering the Kisumu North Ward projects, it seems that the committee was not even aware of where some projects were located. We find that there's ATC at Maseno which has been completed, yet ATC at Maseno is not found in North Kisumu Ward. So even the committee, while they were doing the report, they didn't even know where some projects were being located at, whereby Maseno ATC is in Northwest Kisumu Ward. Yet it's now being indicated that was done in Kisumu North Ward. So I don't know if I've been awarded another name, Maseno, in North Kisumu Ward, whereby the statement is being given. Mr. Speaker, sir, considering the projects like, if you go to some of the projects, mostly on roads and infrastructure, Mr. Speaker, sir, it seems that on page 10, under Kobura Ward, you find that under machine-based, they have indicated the department remarks of what the distance they've done. What percentage of work has been done has not been indicated, and only the department makes a remarks that they're giving us some of the distance which has been done. Being that it was 2.4 kilometers graded, what was intended to? Was the 2.4% 100% completion? That has not been captured, Mr. Speaker. They need to have elaborated that the 2.4 kilometers which was done in that road, was it to 100% completion? Was it to 10% completion, Mr. Speaker? So, Mr. Speaker, to my opinion, the report should be rejected and given more time to the committee to do and more fact-finding considering this report. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, today I have the privilege of representing the majority party, and I know today I have the privilege of talking for 15 minutes. Mr. Speaker, I will not take that much time though, because, Mr. Speaker, I don't see what warrants me taking those 15 minutes. Mr. Speaker, this is a very shoddy report that does not even warrant the time of these honorable members. Mr. Speaker, the statement was sought on 13th March 2024, and they were supposed to report back within 3 weeks. Mr. Speaker, a reminder was sent to them on 3rd May 2024. Mr. Speaker, we want to look back at the prayer of the member who sought the statement, that he was seeking to get a detailed report, a detailed response on the total number of completed projects, programs, and programs executed by the executive under ward-based allocation during the fiscal year 2023-2024 in each department. Mr. Speaker, you look at the report presented here by the implementation committee, and you wonder what they've been doing for 3 months, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I don't want to go into the so many reports, so many things that they've written, but I just want to refer us to the observations. They've made 5 observations with nil recommendations. The only recommendation they are making to the House is for the House to adopt the report. No recommendation at all. And they are telling us that, Mr. Speaker, there are projects that were not done because the contractors defaulted. They are telling us that some were not done and yet paid for. Mr. Speaker, you wonder why the committee wants us to adopt such a shoddy report with no recommendation. They're only telling us to adopt. So after adopting, what next? What are we telling the executive to do? Mr. Speaker, I don't think they should even be given much time, because they had sufficient time to look into the financial year and give us a detailed report. But since for 3 good months, they were not able to do a proper report, I think the committee just needs, I don't know what the House will advise, but this report, Mr. Speaker, demeans the meaning of oversight of this honorable House. Thank you, I reject, and the report needs to be taken back to the owners. Thank you.
Honorable Gado Lima.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this time to contribute. Mr. Speaker, allow me to respectfully object and oppose this motion on the floor of the House. Mr. Speaker, if you look at what we are being given as a report in this House today, Mr. Speaker, you wonder why we even gave the committee the mandate to do it. Because, and Mr. Speaker, I'm saying this because of what we are seeing on the report. This report, even if we were to give the clerks without the committee members, it will have gotten to this House the same way it is. Mr. Speaker, I feel so much bereaved by this committee. And I think if there's any committee that we need to disband in this House, is this implementation committee. Mr. Speaker, there is nothing serious these people have brought to this House that can move us from one step to the other. In terms of our oversight and implementation of our projects, this is the committee we are looking upon to do all these things we need them to do. Mr. Speaker, you look at the report, I think the clerk sat somewhere, wrote the report, gave the chair, signed, and brought to the House. Because if you look at what they are telling us in all the projects, like you go to county-wide projects like in the sports, culture, gender, and youth affairs, the Moi Stadium development, which is 50 million. The amount paid is nil, nothing attached to it in terms of what happened, there's no remarks, there's no anything. They just know that it was awarded 50 million. Mr. Speaker, I think the implementation committee, in anything they want to do, if we talk of a financial year, 2022-2023, whichever year, the first document they should look at is the budget. They should first go to the budget and have all that was adopted and approved by this House. Then from there they start looking for the implementation of those things. If you look at what you're being told here, like if you go to, is it Miwani Ward, where money is paid, but project is 0% complete. And it's written here, that's the report you are being given. So, Mr. Speaker, I don't think we should, at any given point in time, even discuss this report in this floor of the House. Because I don't think the members of this committee are also serious as well. You find the vice chair didn't sign. The member who signed, Honorable Boyton, disowned the report at inception and said it's raw. And it's a member who has signed and is saying the report is raw, should not get to this House. The vice chair who has just supported it didn't sign because he didn't see anything good in it to sign it. And you want us here to sit as members to discuss the same. Mr. Speaker, you listen to the chair reading the report, it's like we are in nursery school. I wanted to throw those students out before she continues. Because, you see, if you have your report that belongs to you, you should understand the details of that report. You don't come here and read as if you are in tuition, where you have to cram and say anything. Mr. Speaker, I think the Committee of Implementation is letting us down. And if this thing has to go forward, there's an unused committee called the General Oversight Committee, that can do this job thoroughly. I'm not saying that because I'm in that committee, But I think all the members can give their prowess in that department, in that committee, so that we get to the details of these things. If you are told we awarded 50 million to Moi Stadium, the money was not spent. Nothing. We are not told, was it contracted? Nothing. What was paid? Nothing. It's nil. We are just told it was 50 million awarded, nothing happened. So who should tell us what happened to that project? It is an implementation committee. They should have called the department and asked, what happened to the 50 million that we allocated to this project? All these projects that are not done, what happened to them? Because we cannot be here, if you go to the ground as a member of county assembly, you are told you are given 5 million for robot dispensary. Then nothing happens. Then people say the MC has eaten that money. The MC has squandered that money. While the committee that is responsible to go and check for us and bring the report here, so that we also give the report to the members of the public and know that this is what happened. Either the contractor took the job, ran away, or the contractor didn't have the capacity, or it was not contracted, nothing. So we are seated here carrying a burden that is not ours because we don't have a report. Because you cannot tell me, Mr. Speaker, to take this report to Southwest Nakach. They will not even know anything about it because they will tell me it's a joke. Because if you take any report outside there, we also need these reports to also help us show that we are working for this county. And that's why some of us who forward these messages, these reports to make the people of the public see us as nuisance to this county. And Mr. Speaker, I want to request that if you are giving any report, these are documents that should be in the public. And anytime we have a report in this house, it should be let go so that those people in Miwani Ward, in Ombei Ward, in East Seme, can see the projects and the status of those projects. Then they can question as well as we question. But if it's not done that way, then we carry the burden of saying, haikufanywa, it was not done, by who? Is it the MCA? Is it the chief officer? Is it the department? We cannot say all those things. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to reject this report in totality and request your chair to allow this report to be taken to another serious committee, because 3 months is a long time with this such a report. Thank you. I reject and oppose.
Honorable Kelvin and Honorable Moses Achele, I know because of security I'm supposed to give you, but I've seen Honorable Mildred stand for a long time. So you, by your indulgence, if you allow me to give her, then I'll come back to you. Thank you, Honorable Chele. Thank you, Honorable Kelvin. Honorable Mildred.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I stand here in my capacity as a member of the Implementation Committee. I am not ashamed of this report. And I want to say that, I want to read for you the chairperson's forward. In considering the implementation status of projects approved in the financial year 2022-23, the committee wrote a letter to all the CC members concerned in the departments. This is a response from the departments, from different departments. And I think there's a letter coming from the departments. This is not a response of the implementation committee. So if you're saying you are disappointed with this committee as assembly, you are disappointed with the entire executive. Thank you.
Doc, what is it?
Mr. Speaker, thank you. Mr. Speaker, I'm lost. Listen, the honorable member who has just spoke, saying correctly that she's not ashamed with the report. But we have said, Mr. Speaker, that this committee could have asked for more time to do thorough work on their report, Mr. Speaker.
Are you debating or you on? I thought you were on a point of order.
I'm trying to rectify my fellow colleague, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Miller, I thought you had completed.
Honorable Speaker, I've discovered in this house, members are bullying the implementation committee. It is not fair, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Mildred, I rule you out of order. I have not seen any bullying. I would have protected the chair appropriately. It's my responsibility to protect each and every member.
Point of information, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable, whom do you want to inform?
I seek to inform the House, Mr. Speaker.
What is it?
Mr. Speaker, a member of the implementation committee just referred us to a response from the executive. Mr. Speaker, it is not enough for committees to stop at responses from executive. But our mandate allows us to even dig deeper and search more and more. So you don't stop at a response from committee. And we are supposed to even call witnesses, go to the ground, do site visits, inquire more, and give us a comprehensive report. You don't rely on a response from executive and submit it here. Otherwise, Mr. Speaker, we would just write to executive and get those responses without engaging committees to go and fact find to bring reports. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable, I have not had a member from Nyando, so let me give Honorable Chele, then Honorable Kelvin. Honorable Rara, you will be next. Honorable Chele, the floor is yours.
The mic.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to empathize with the Committee on Implementation. Mr. Speaker, because from what Honorable Millicent Ajumbo has just stated, Mr. Speaker, it means that this is a committee which is on a learning path. They are still learning, Mr. Speaker. So any faults in the report should not be attributed to them, but should be attributed to their slow learning manner. Mr. Speaker, I wanted to say something before Madam Diaz contributed or informed the House. Mr. Speaker, the main role of implementation committee is to give light, to shed light on the actual status of projects on the ground. Mr. Speaker, for Honorable Ego to have raised the statement, it means there are certain reports is getting from the executive which are not true on the ground. So the only committee which is live to the authority of verifying two facts is the Committee on Implementation. Mr. Speaker, what has just been presented as a report today, this afternoon, is what is obvious. It is what we have always in the sectoral committees. Now, the only difference between implementation committee and the sectoral committee is that they have the mandate to travel. Mr. Speaker, if a number of things are given to you by the executive, and we have several vehicles around here, Mr. Speaker, I have not seen in the report where they are saying they wanted to verify, yet the administration refused to grant them leave to go. Mr. Speaker, I would have wanted to see that in the 2022-2023 budget, these projects were proposed in East Kanawari, the ward. The executive informed us that the status is 90% done or 60% done, but when we went to the site, we realized that it is 100% done, or we realized that nothing has been done on the ground. Mr. Speaker, that is the true nature and definition of oversight. But what they are bringing to us, I don't know how I can term it. Is it oversighting? It is not oversighting. They are a conduit of sending the same message which the executive have to this assembly, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my only advice to the implementation team, we love you, we are colleagues, and we are ready even to sacrifice, to volunteer ourselves to join your team when such a call of duty is before you, Mr. Speaker, so that we can help them know what to be done. Otherwise, 3 months, then you bring no report, because there's no report. It is just same letter written by the executive. It is not a report. So, Mr. Speaker, we count the 3 months wasted, and Mr. Speaker, going by the Honorable Guard's sentiments, this matter should not just die, because it is very pertinent to us. If it dies, then the same trend will continue in the 23-24 financial year. Mr. Speaker, I wish that you can redirect this assignment to another committee so that when they report back to this house, our learning sisters can actually learn on how to handle such matters. Thank you.
Honorable Kelvin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First and foremost, let me start by trying to remind members to be serious enough when coming to this honorable assembly. I've seen the culture where members do not even respect this house. It is not a must for you to be reminded that you're naked, but naturally, it should be a behavior of members to fear the assembly the way even advocates fear the court. It is a matter of a serious concern, and I hope you'll talk about it. Mr. Speaker, on the second issue, Mr. Speaker, I was a former vice chair of implementation committee, and Honorable Henrietta was my chair. Mr. Speaker, from what I learned last week in Parliament, and the way you are so transparent to an extent where this assembly also is live outside and people are seeing what is happening, there are things that we need to change. The Gen Z were not only targeting the MPs and the president. It is a culture that is coming out that people want transparent leaders. And the issue of implementation of project is not just a thing to joke around with. We are talking about money being allocated, and even other MCs here have been accused of eating those money that they have never seen or even pocketed. And the moment a committee undertakes on behalf of this assembly to follow up on something, Mr. Speaker, it is not even a request. They should do a good work. A work that even if the report goes outside, majority can understand and they can even appreciate that whatever they are doing is good enough. Time is coming, and time has come, when given responsibility and additional responsibility allows that you are now the chair of a committee, you need to take your work seriously to an extent where you don't joke with that duty given to you. And Honorable Gada has spoken, although I never wanted to approach my former vice chair, my former chair, that they should even see a way of disbanding the committee and leaving that. But the truth be said, Mr. Speaker, we should not joke as things are changing in Kenya today. The young generation are full of the phones, and they're following everything happening within assemblies, and other assemblies were victims of Gen Z. They burned properties. They were saying that leaders are not representing them. It is high time we change the way we are doing things. We cannot pass whatever happened last week and assume that it was normal. We, Kisumu, are safe. There are others who are even pushing for budget of Kisumu County. There are those who are saying that budget was not passed, and the assembly never passed a budget. Thank God, most of the documents are always sent to us through the assembly. So I want to urge the implementation committee that this report is poorly done. When you are told to do an implementation report, like now we are talking about bursary for the last financial year, 2023-2024. We have a lot of things that we expect implementation committee to follow up. But if you cannot follow the one you are given, how can you assure members that you can do a better work if given another one? So, Mr. Speaker, I will wish that the majority leader, your team, and the selection team be keen when choosing members to sit in a serious committee. And in this case, the implementation members, if given another chance, do your work seriously, because you're not only bringing the report to the House, but you are reporting to the public on behalf of the leaders they elected. That's why the report will come here, but automatically, if shared to the public, it should be that report that can save our face before the public and can also quantify that whether we go to write report in Mombasa, we're actually doing the right thing. So for this report, I think the chair can do the honorable thing, come out and say, let me withdraw the report, the way our president did, avoid embarrassment, Honorable Henrietta, accept that there are things you never did well so that the report is not rejected, but to some extent, you go and sit down somewhere with your committee and do a good work. The report is not in a good shape. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Nyaoke.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'll just continue from where my colleagues have left. Mr. Speaker, and all members are aware that we are dealing with a historical problem of this particular committee, Mr. Speaker. It is not the first time that we are talking about the issue of implementation committee. And as we proceed, we are getting to know how important this committee is, Mr. Speaker. We have given them quite a good time to try to reorganize this house, Mr. Speaker, and by the look of things, it has been difficult for them to rearrange themselves so that they are able to do exactly what they are supposed to do. Mr. Speaker, we have even talked with some of them privately, but they also have a tangible reason, which is also okay, that the amount of money that is being allocated to them does not even warrant to visit even one ward to follow up this particular issue, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker,
A point of information.
What is the point of order, Honorable Maurice Ngeta? Can you ensure the microphones are working?
Mr. Speaker, I rise on standing order number 86 of a statement of fact that honorable member on the floor can substantiate that the committee has not been given an adequate allocation to monitor or to do their oversight role. Thank you.
Honorable Nyaoke.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I don't just talk here for the sake of talking. I verify my information first before I present it before this House. Mr. Speaker, it is a fact that even if we go ahead and find out how much this committee has been allocated, Mr. Speaker, unless we expect them to use from their pockets.
Honorable Gadolema, whom do you want to inform?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to inform the House.
What is it?
Mr. Speaker, I don't think the money allocated for committees are for visiting projects. What the committee should do in terms of local trips, we have our utility cars in the assembly. Unless they are saying they are not given any car or facilitation in terms of fuel, that is a question. But committee money that is given to different committees here are for maybe trainings, benchmarkings and all that. But doing our local oversight report here doesn't need allocation specifically for a specific committee. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I believe you.
Thank you. I'm guided there, Mr. Speaker. Let me proceed with other issues. Mr. Speaker, it is not. I'm not trying to put this so that I support this motion. Definitely, this motion should not be, or should rather be rejected for one major reason, Mr. Speaker. It is evident that the report which has come before this House is not a report, but a replies from the executive. Mr. Speaker, even if they wrote a letter to executive to get certain explanations, what they should have used is to use those replies to verify the information that we wanted to get to us, Mr. Speaker. Now, failure to do that by just because those are the same things we can go and get from the executive directly, and those are some of the facts that we also have. What was remaining now is for them to dig deep and know exactly, like for example, in North Nyakach, there is a road there called Kawota Kere Road. They have simply said that this road was opened, 1.5 kilometers opened, but culverts, compaction, and maraming is still pending. Mr. Speaker, this road was not done the other day. It is almost getting old. I'm almost requesting for money for repair, and they're still saying the culverts are still pending. It is pending until when? Those are some of the facts and omissions that they should have verified with the executive and to explain to them exactly what do they mean by these pending issues in a particular road which had already been handed over and contractor paid. So in failure to that, seriously, I think they're not going to take offense if we say that this report should be returned to sender. Let them work on that proper report, and let us have appropriate report that is going to guide this House effectively. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Abil Yasuna.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Looking at the mood of the House, may I call the mover to reply?
Honorable Henrietta Bodo.
Honorable, I've heard you loudly. Mr. Speaker, if you happen, honorable members, to fail this report, then all of us shall have failed. Mr. Speaker, before we sat and even started doing the report, the first thing we did was to ask members to help us verify the projects that have been done, the ones which have not been done, the ones which are pending, and the ones which are complete. Members failed to reply to the questionnaires we gave out. Number two, we are talking about timelines, Mr. Speaker. When we do our work, we don't do them in isolation, Mr. Speaker. There's the process of writing to the executive. There's the timeline that is given for their response. And there's a reminder, those are time. Don't forget that we are working within time limits. When you write to the executive, Mr. Speaker and honorable members, and they don't reply in good time, there is no way you will assume that they have replied and then you sit down and do your own report. You have to wait for their responses. Number three, if you want us to do a report that is satisfactory to the House, kindly answer to the questionnaires which we gave out. And we gave out the questionnaires to 35 wards, Mr. Speaker. About 10 of them responded. The majority of them did not respond. So how are we to do a complete and conclusive and up-to-date report when you are the ones who did not give us what we wanted from you? And fourth, Mr. Speaker, we can still go out to look at the projects if they are done. And I think when we had our last discussion as a committee, we agreed that we need to go out and see, because we don't want to depend on the executive alone, but we wanted to also go out and see for ourselves. Mr. Speaker, I ask for your protection from members here.
Who is the member disturbing you?
I mean, they are making noise here.
Pass.
So, Mr. Speaker, someone just said that they want to disband the committee. Why are you disbanding the committee? I know, no, the committee is working, Mr. Honorable Guard. The committee is working in this way, unless the questionnaires we gave out, honorable members, Honorable Madam Deputy Speaker,
Honorable Henrietta, you are addressing the chairperson. Address the speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Henrietta Bodo, you are addressing the speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me address you, Honorable Speaker. You know, if you disband the committee, what else? Are you eyeing the committee? Because I can see many members eyeing the committee, Mr. Speaker. No, the committee is not going to be given to you anyway. No. Mr. Speaker, it is not going to be given to anybody, because I know where they are talking from. So the committee is not going to be given to anybody. I will still remain the chair. You tell us what you want us to do. Yeah, just tell us what you want us to do and we will do it. Because even the report which is before you today, we worked on it. It did not just come and drop in this House. We worked. So, Mr. Speaker, members should just be honorable the way they are called. And when we ask them to give us some information from their wards, they need to do so. And if you don't do so and we bring the report here, Don't reject the report. Just accept. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Honorable members, now that the motion adoption of the report of the implementation committee on the implementation of status of the projects approved in the year 2022-2023 have been moved by the chairperson of the committee of implementation, seconded, debated, and reply made. As per our standing orders, I want to put a question. Honorable members, remember, the question will be based on the motion that was moved to adopt the report. So if it's adopted, then it means the report with the recommendations will be put to anyway, I'm told that there are no implementation, but the way it's put, when the report is adopted, it will be implemented the way it is. And if it is rejected, then it means we give an opportunity to the committee to do another report and we'll give direction as then. So you have to be very careful on where you are voting. So I put a question. There is many of the opinion that the motion, adoption of the report of the implementation committee on the implementation status of reports, implementation status of projects approved in the financial year 2022-2023 as moved, debated, be adopted, say aye. Aye. As many of the contrary opinions say nay. I'm seeing some honorable members are standing, so I wonder if you are calling for division or what. So I put the question again. I mean, you can only stand once I give the results of the voting. But when you stand, I assume that you are forcing division, while I'm not even given the results of the voting. So I put the question again. There are many of the opinion that the motion adoption of the report of implementation committee on the implementation status of projects approved in the year 2022-2023 be adopted, say aye. Aye. As many of the contrary opinions say nay. Nay. The nays have it. And the motion adoption of the report on implementation committee on the implementation status of projects approved in the year 2022-2023 have been rejected today, Wednesday, the 3rd of July, 2024 at 16:19 hours. And you know the consequence that the committee, we had agreed that we give you an opportunity to work on the report. We will give the timelines appropriately, maybe in the next sitting. Next order.
Mr. Speaker and honorable members, there is no any other business in the order paper.
Honorable members, before we conclude, I want to bring to your attention a request that I ought to have brought during communication, that tomorrow, the 4th of July 2024, as per the tentative budget, the tentative business that was read by the leader of majority on Tuesday, the 2nd of July 2024, one of the proposed motion is adjournment. And this is a new financial year, so I want to request that tomorrow at 10 a.m. and in line with the standing order standing order number 195, that is the Committee on General Oversight, And to be specific, we go to 198.1, standing order number 198.1, that all members of the General Oversight Committee, we meet here at 10 a.m. And I read that unless for the convenience of the Assembly and the committee, the Speaker otherwise directs, the Committee of General Oversight shall meet on Thursday, commencing at 10 a.m., but the meeting shall not continue after 12:30. So please inform the others that we meet here at 10 a.m. There are a number of issues that we'll place at the table at that time. Otherwise, I still remind you of Friday, which shall be the inauguration day for the Assembly Open Day. I am reminded that on that day we'll be putting on corporate shirts. So if yours is maybe somewhere, you need to look for it so that on Friday, all of us are in the corporate shirt. Otherwise, the House stands adjourned until Thursday, the 4th of July, 2024 at 2:30 p.m.